don't blame people because they may not know what they need to know to tell you. They didn't know to tell me in 1990 when I graduated was, hey, yeah, you got this great job in a warehouse, in the 90s making $18 an hour, which is fabulous.
Great money back then.
Yeah. Let's keep going with it. They didn't know that. I tell them they didn't know to tell me, hey, this is not going to be a career. This is just a job. We need to find you a career. You need to, if you're not going to go to college, let's go to a trade school. I tell people all the time.
Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Nguyen,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in any market. Today, we've got a great guest, and Vu, I'm going to let you do, David, I'm going to let you do the honors on this one. Who do we have here today?
we have a really special dude. His name is Val Garcia. Val is a broker owner of a real estate company. I'll let you take it away, Val. Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. My name is Val Garcia. I'm like David said, I'm broker owner of Valen Realty. I'm based out of Coppell, but I have we pretty much service all of North Texas. Really try to stay in our own space here, so not traveling all over the country or all over the state. But I have agents literally in just about every city in Dallas-Fort Worth. So
that's awesome.
Works out great.
That's awesome.
And you have a pretty niche market, Val. What's your niche market?
I really like luxury homes. I'm big into luxury homes.
Who isn't?
Well, they're the easiest market to work in. People always get it confused. They're like, oh man, I don't want to work with those high-end houses. They're probably so much work. I was like, man, they're the easiest ones, especially selling them, because I always tell people, hey, you got a house you're selling for $1 million and the repair amendments come back in and they want $6,000. That's nothing for people. They're like, fine, you know what? Just have it. Let's be done.
Let's move on.
I said, you're selling a $150,000 house and now they want $6,000. That's a huge section.
That's right.
That's a good percentage of their house. And
it is.
That makes it difficult. So
it does.
So yeah, that's why I like the luxury market.
That low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. But honestly, I love all sales. I mean, I love all the houses. You treat everybody the same in this business, because the minute you stop doing it is the minute you start losing your business.
That's right. That's right.
So
we want to know a little bit about your background. Our followers want to know a little bit.
Okay.
We talked a little in the green room, but where'd you come from originally?
All right. So originally, I am from San Diego, Texas, which sounds glorious of all, but it's down close to the valley.
Not San Diego, California.
No, definitely not San Diego, California. San Diego, Texas, down in the valley. So down there with all the Spanish speakers, of course. I say I come from there, but I'm born here. Actually, I was born in McKinney because my mother, being the strong Hispanic lady she was back in the early 70s, she would get these magazines and she would read these magazines, and one of them had the must-have doctor, and it was a doctor named Dr. Mitchell in McKinney, Texas, of all places. So she looked on the map where it was, and for some reason
notice he said map, not on the iPhone.
This is way before phones. This is back when you had the rotary phone.
That's right.
So in 1973, in March 1973, that's when my due date was. It's going to be towards the end of March. So a few days before her due date, unbeknownst to my dad, she says, hey, we're going to McKinney. And he's like, first of all, where is McKinney and why are we going? And she goes, I read about this doctor and that's who's having my son or having my kid. And he's like, you're kidding. And she's like, no, we're going.
Let's get in the car.
They loaded up the car.
Saddle up.
Drove to North Texas, had no idea where they were going.
Yeah.
Came up here, and sure enough, her water broke. I came out. But the interesting part of the story is I came out of stillborn. I was a stillborn. They had laid me on her and said, hey, your son, you had a son, but he didn't survive. Dr. Mitchell happened to have a resident with him that day that was training, and he goes, hey, this doesn't happen a lot. We need your baby. And he told the resident, hey, practice your baby CPR on him, because it's a real person you can try on. That's not a little dummy type thing. And 10 minutes into it, I woke up.
That's awesome.
So when I heard that story when I was really, really young. And ever since that day, I've been like, man, every day I have is like borrowed time. So,
it's a blessing.
People always ask me, they go, you're never angry. You never get frustrated. You're always happy. Why? And I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. What do I have to complain about? Literally every day I got. So 3 days in the hospital, back down to South Texas we go. They decided to have another baby, and of course, 4 years later, getting close to the due date, my dad's walking around the house, and she's like, "Yeah, we're going back to McKinney." so
You know what to do.
yeah. So my brother Frank came out, and he was normal. He was a normal baby born. 3 days now, we're back in South Texas. But my parents were smart enough to understand back then that, hey, South Texas, you grew up and you went to work, and if you did that, that was a great life. And
That's
they,
right.
they really wanted more for us, but they didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And we'll get into this later because this is a great topic for us here. So in 1978, we moved up to Dallas.
Okay.
And a lot of Hispanic people that are down from the valley or even from Mexico that come across,
Right.
what's their favorite thing to do? Watch football. Who's their favorite team?
Dallas
The Dallas
Cowboys.
Cowboys. And that's how you wind up in the city of Irving, Texas, where the Dallas Cowboys were headquartered. And that's why the city of Irving has grown so much. People don't ever talk about it, but that really is. I mean,
That's right.
You look at the major sports franchises that the Hispanic people love. Those are the cities that get populated because that's what they know and that's what they hear in their culture. So that's how we wound up in Irving. Elementary school, I was the only Hispanic kid there. Time I graduated high school, I was one of 6 total.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know the other. I knew one. I didn't know the other 4. They weren't, But the funny part about it, back in the late 70s, like that, when I started elementary school, I didn't know a word of English, not a single one.
Yep.
Going into first grade, and the teachers or principals, they told my parents, they're like, "You cannot let him speak any more English. I mean, any more Spanish. You're going to ruin this. You're going to ruin him as he gets older. An accent is going to destroy him and being able to do anything in life.
Yep.
If you ever want him to be successful in something other than a warehouse job, he's got to have proper English, no more Spanish."
Little did they know.
Little did they know. So my parents, not knowing the future, of course, they're like 100%.
Yeah.
So Spanish was banned in our house from there forward. It was all English.
Wow.
So I didn't start speaking Spanish again until I was like 25 years old.
That's wild.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and
That's wild.
probably about 3 years ago, I told my mother, I said, "Man, that really backfired on y'all, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, man, we should have never listened. We should have never listened." So that's kind of where I'm from, and kind of it is. I grew up in Irving. I lived there for a little over 30 years.
Well, I want to bring that back real quick,
Sure.
too, because I just want to say what a blessing that you're here.
Yeah.
We're lucky. Your consumers are lucky, right? You're doing some great things out there. And thank you to Dr.
Mitchell.
Dr. Mitchell for making that happen.
Which
man.
is funny because I
Seriously.
married a woman, and I married a woman named, her last name is Mitchell. So it's kind of funny. I had to make sure. I had to make sure it wasn't her. One the daughter of him.
Do you have a doctor in the? Yeah.
Yeah, but no. And funny, the McKinney Hospital I was born is now the Haunted House of McKinney.
Oh, that's
It's
wild.
where they have
That's
the
wild.
Haunted House Festival every
Well,
year.
let's talk about this. You did back to 73 in McKinney. I don't know if there was much there.
There wasn't much there.
Maybe a downtown area and a hospital, and that's about it.
I always think to myself, what happened if whoever wrote that article would have never written the doctor article?
Yeah.
My mother doesn't even remember what it was about anymore. She just remembered that it was like struck her and was like, I got to go see this person.
Val's here, and that's important. That's important.
Pretty cool.
Good stuff.
Pretty cool
So it's
story.
Irving, and it's did you say the 80s at this point
The
in time?
80s at this point, yeah.
Yeah. And you decided I'm going to be a real estate agent.
No, no. So let's get back. One of the things I talk to the kids at our church about is don't blame people because they may not know what they need to know to tell you. So my family, they're incredibly hardworking. Neither one of them, father or dad, went to college, but they both have this incredible work ethic.
Yeah.
So when I graduated high school, that's what was expected. Hey, you graduate high school, you get a job, you're having a great life. Let's go.
Yeah.
They didn't know to tell me in 1990 when I graduated was, hey, yeah, you got this great job in a warehouse, in the 90s making $18 an hour, which is fabulous.
Great money back then.
Yeah. Let's keep going with it. They didn't know that. I tell them they didn't know to tell me, hey, this is not going to be a career. This is just a job. We need to find you a career. You need to, if you're not going to go to college, let's go to a trade school. I tell people all the time, I should have been a plumber, electrician, or an air conditioner guy, or something like that. A trade that I could have done, a mechanic. And I tell people all the time, it's not their fault that they didn't know because nobody ever educated it and told them,
You're right.
hey, expect more from your children.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we always talk to our children. Don't, my wife and I, hey, don't say, hey, I want to go work at, X and X job, say, I want to run X and X job.
Oh, man.
Don't shoot for, I just don't want to be there. Yeah, you want to join it, learn it, and let's learn how to run it or create it ourselves, and let's go with it. So I always talk to the church kids about that at my church.
Where'd that attitude come from? It had to come from somewhere.
You know, I don't know. Like I said, life's always come easy to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that to brag. It's just
No, it's okay. Take your humble hat off, brother.
The hard days that I have in life are very far and few in between, and
Yeah.
I don't ever let it get me too low. I love letting it get me really high,
Yeah.
but it's pretty simple, man. I always see people say, man, I'm struggling today. And I'm like, what are you struggling about, man? You're breathing, you're walking around, you live in America. Do you know how great you got it? Just being in this country, you can do anything you want at any time you want. And I tell people all the time, man, if I can succeed, a kid from the Valley who didn't learn to speak English till first grade, who barely graduated,
Yeah.
who owns a business that makes more money than I could have ever dreamt about. I have people that work for me that I love because they're incredible people. Not just, I don't say they're employees because they're not. They're just
family.
incredible people.
Yeah.
I go, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I've been lucky enough. I got invited to teach, not teach, but go and present a class at the University of Oklahoma State University.
That's
And it
fantastic.
was fabulous. And the teacher came and goes, man, we love the energy you brought. And the students have never asked for anybody's contact information. And they're all wanting to call you and talk to you and run ideas by you. And he goes, that doesn't happen. He goes, well, we're thrilled. We want to have you back.
That's amazing.
And I mean, really, think about where I came from. I came from
Yeah.
literally nothing.
Yeah.
To, you know.
Well, almost not even here.
Yeah.
Almost not even here.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we talk about this all the time, that we can't believe the life we have and how we got it. And
It's a
and
beautiful story.
It's nothing that we went and begged for. It's just, you live life right every day, and every day it gets better. And
Let me tell you something. David, first off, I see why you wanted to have Val on here. What an amazing story. And also just the enthusiasm, the emotion, and the passion that you have behind you. People need to hear what you have to say, because we've got a lot of people out there in America today, right, that are struggling and
They are.
and struggling with small problems that they're making too big. Right? And here's Val, who almost didn't even make it into this world, who's looking at every day as a blessing and surrounding himself with people and filling them full of that energy and that love and that passion to make the best of themselves. So awesome stuff, Val.
yeah,
Seriously.
man, if you're out there, I plead with you. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Figure it out. I tell people all the time, figure this life out, make it work, man.
Yeah.
I graduated high school. I was an athlete, so I didn't.
What'd you play? What was your sport?
I played football, and if you're good at football, you really didn't have to do a lot of work. so I graduated. When I graduated, my kids laugh at me. I took math.
Yeah.
My senior year of high school, and they're like, "What kind of math?" I was like, "No, my class said math." Like, they were looking at my transcript; it was math, and they were like, "What were you doing?" I was literally, we're adding and subtracting in this class.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't pre-algebra, wasn't any of this stuff.
We forget what education has changed
How it's
over
changed.
the years.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I go, nobody has an excuse, and that's the one thing my kids tell me all the time. Oh, we don't have an excuse. If we can do it. If we just don't want to be lazy.
Well, I do motivational videos on stuff like this all the time, right? And what it really boils down to is people all come from a struggle. Even the ones that you see that are crazy successful, it's the ones that stand up and take action and believe in themselves that make whatever they want of their world, right? And it sounds like that's exactly who you are.
Yeah, that's what I try to be. So
That's amazing.
Val, our audience wants to know. Man, I've seen your production report for the last year. There's, we all know what's happening with the interest rates and the market, and 50% of the realtors and 50% of the loan officers are no longer here. They just, they had to tap out. You had a pretty good year.
it never changes, man.
Yeah.
So I know this is not the norm and what people are going to say. I don't care what the rate is.
Yeah.
If you need a house, we're going to put you in a house. People tell you it all the time, man. Marry the house, divorce the rate.
Yeah.
You need a house now. Let's get you in a house, and when the rate gets better, we're going to send you back to David, and we're going to get him to refinance it for you.
There you go.
House is not going to change. what's your interest rate when you're not making any money on your property, when
That's
you're just
right.
giving it away? It's 100% when you're renting.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and let's touch on this a little bit. So, did you change anything at all in your process over the last 12 months, or did you already just have it fine tuned to the point where your business just didn't struggle?
So I have a massive network.
Yeah.
My father was a little league football coach in Irving since 1979.
Okay.
When I first played my first little game, he had the same little football team for 40 years.
What's the name of the team?
The Irving Broncos.
We had a Broncos fan on here a minute ago.
They were. They are now demolished. He's retired.
Irving Broncos in Irving, where
Irving.
the Cowboys came
Yeah,
from.
where the Cowboys came from. The Cowboys were taken, and he came. They became the Broncos.
There you go.
From that little league team, we've had 79 kids play Division I college football.
Oh, wow.
We had Chase Daniels, who was up for the Heisman. We had 5 kids play in the NFL.
Yeah.
So.
And your dad coached this team?
Yeah, I helped him when I turned 18, and I coached it till I was 40 with him. It was
That's
a great way
awesome.
to spend time with him, 3 nights a week. So it's good. I mean,
So your dad's a pretty amazing guy.
He's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty awesome dude.
Pretty influential.
Very influential. Didn't speak a lot growing up. Cannot get him to be quiet now. He loves everything now. But my parents are that way. They love life. They're retired and they spend almost all their time at the lake. They come in to write their bills once a month, and then they go back to the lake. And I'm like, they have auto draft, and they're like, nope, that's not how we do it.
Old fashioned.
So I'm like,
yeah.
okay,
Love it.
whatever floats your boat. I think
Keep
they
it
just
at
come. I
OG.
think they just come in to check the house. But
They want to see you. That's what it is.
So the networking is what really got me going.
Yeah.
The other thing I did when I first started was I was like, okay, I'm brand new to this business. I haven't had any sales yet. How am I going to generate business, and why would they go with me?
Yeah.
So I said, let's.
So it's a standard question,
It's a
right?
standard question. So
Yeah.
I said, what do I have in my family? I have 7 teachers in my family. And, sisters, my mother
Right.
worked at the University of Dallas, aunts, uncles who are all teachers. My wife has 8
Your
teachers.
dad's a coach?
My dad's a little league coach. I was like, okay, so I can relate with teachers. Let's figure out what we can do with teachers. So when my wife and I started our business, I said, what do we want our business to be? What do we want to do? And we're like, you know what? We're not going to make it about the money. We're going to make it a good place to work, a fair place to work, a place that you feel proud to go, and then we're going to make it all about integrity. So what we did is that the first thing I want to do is I want to go to all the schools that we live close to, all the ISDs, and tell them, hey, for teachers. So even till today, we do teachers, we do first responders. If you can show us that you work full-time there or in the ministry, you're a full-time minister,
Yeah.
we will sell your house at no commission. The only thing that we ask is that you allow us to purchase your next house, because we do have to make money. We can't do everything for
100%.
free. So we're saving on the average now people about $15,000 on their sale of their property.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot of money. It's a big chunk of money.
It is. It is. But you see the bigger picture.
I do see that. We do see the bigger picture. But that's how I kind of got going. I got kind of known as the teacher guy. And
That's a great niche. That's a great
Yeah.
niche. And you brought up something too about your one of your core values. And I have to bring it up too. Integrity. That's one of ours as well. And I think when you find a great organization, integrity is a big part of that.
That's what it is. I mean, people are going to remember. I tell people all the time, I don't want to sell you this house. I want to sell you the next 3.
Yeah.
Not just you, but I also want to sell your kids their houses too.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow a real estate business.
It is.
I know I go to some of the real estate schools here to go and recruit new agents, and the first thing, normally 9.9% out of 10, the very first question anybody asks is, do you give leads? Do you give out leads?
Never heard that one
Do you
before.
have
huh,
a lead
David?
generation? Do you give out leads? And I tell them all, I go, 100%, I do not give you leads. So if you want leads, I got pizza in the break room, go have it.
Yeah.
You don't need to hear my spiel, because if you're relying on leads, you're going to die in this business when the market gets
that's right.
hard. If you cannot grow a business from your network, you will not make it in
Your
real
sphere of
estate.
influence.
You've got to. Your sphere of
Yeah,
influence.
I'm going to empower you with my knowledge to make you
Yes.
successful, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The other thing I tell people too, and for anybody out there that's thinking about getting into it, when you start this business, you're going to hear a lot of people tell you, "Oh, come work with us. Come work with us. We give out leads. We give out leads."
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these places have like 300 agents. How many leads come in a month?
That's right. And what's the quality of those leads? Let's talk about
Especially
that
what's
too.
the quality to a new person.
Right.
So that's kind of thing. So don't get caught up in the leads. Really learn to grow your business from within, and education on what you
We'll
love.
throw this out there. We talk about the sphere of influence. A lot of people don't think about this. We use a program for a lot of the agents when we talk to newer agents, and we say, look, go to the internet or go to your Apple store or your Samsung store, download Covey Export, okay? And what's Covey do? Well, it actually allows for you to export all the people in your phone onto an Excel spreadsheet, and guess what? There's a great place to get started, right? Contacting the people that you already know because they know, like, and trust you. And most likely they have friends, family, or coworkers that also might have interest in buying a house, right?
So I know y'all are in the business, so y'all have heard of, hey, you got to touch your clients so many times, so often. I have the greatest system for it.
Let's hear it.
And I'm sorry that other people won't be able to replicate this. My wife is an extremely car sick person. I never even knew what it was until we started dating. But because of that, she has to drive all the time.
Yeah.
So what do I have to do? I have to sit over there and make conversation,
right?
Listen to the music. 'Cause she doesn't like me playing on my phone because she says, "Hey, you're just playing on your phone," and whatever. So I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, you can't drive. You can't sit over here.
You can't drive in. Not let me play on the phone."
Yeah. So what I started doing, I probably started doing this about 3 years ago, and it has worked fabulous. I start in the A's.
Yeah.
And I just text everybody in my phone. And I go right down A. And then whenever we get to where we're going, we're stopped. And the next time we get in the car, I start right back up and then start working myself. It's just a constant repetitive thing. So I reach out and touch everybody we probably get through my phone about every 2 weeks, just sending people something every time. And it's never about real estate. It's always about, man, how are the kids? What's going on?
Making connections.
Top of mind.
Top of mind.
All you're doing is staying top of mind.
Brother, you talk about this stuff, and it's funny because it's so close to our business plan as well.
Yeah.
We do it a little different. We basically take our entire Rolodex and we divide it by 13, and we reach out to that many people each week. That way we can make certain that we're always reaching out to somebody and letting them know that we're here. And you're right. It's all about, hey, thank you. We appreciate you, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And, educating them about the things, letting them know that we're here if they need us.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so many people don't do that. One of the questions I always ask everybody, especially when they're a new client for me, I go, how did you find me?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's always, well, you were recommended, and our last agent, we haven't heard from him. We haven't heard from him in a long time.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, if they let you buy a house once for them, you're their agent for life if you just talk to them.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's all you just got to communicate, right?
That's
People want communication. They want clear understanding. They want to know that when they need something that you're going to be there for them, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Man, I tell people in this business, do not be afraid to put yourself out there.
No,
Just
you have to.
jump at it.
You have
jump
to.
at it. Worst thing that happen is you fall right back to where you are now.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to do that because at the end of the day, you're always out there taking action and doing the right activity.
Trying to stay in front of everything.
So you met your wife a couple times. Is she part of the team?
So my wife is a real estate agent. She's getting ready to become a broker in case, as she says it, in case you die, I don't want our team to go away. So
her insurance policy.
she really doesn't do anything in real estate other than open doors when I need some help with that.
Well, you
She'll
need help
take care
all
of
the
that.
time,
Now
dude.
she does do all the book work for us. So
Yeah.
we're 50-50 owners in our company, but she has her own. She has a full-time job that she does, and we kind of got this idea with I really needed help on the book work on the books.
Keep it the record straight.
And honestly, the business got going so good, I really needed somebody to go help me open doors when I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's important. You've got to have people that are there to support you. We talk about this all the time. You've got to be able to do the things that make you most successful.
Yeah.
And opening doors sometimes isn't that, right? And there's always somebody support behind you that can go do some of those things so you can stay focused on the activity that's going to bring in the business.
Absolutely.
Which is going to take care of everybody, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, she frees me up a ton.
Well, and it's not just the wife with the business because you run a pretty good sized brokerage. How many employees do you have? How many real estate agents
I
work
have
with you?
14 currently right now. Our master plan is to have 50 in the next 3 years and
You're gonna do
100
it?
and 105 years.
You're going to do that?
So that's kind of our plan. When I get to 50, I don't want to say I don't want to sell. I want to sell for repeat clients, families, but anybody new that's coming in, I want to refer out to my agents.
Yeah.
I want to really concentrate on the growth of the company,
Yeah.
and I also want to concentrate on the training. Because one thing I do that a lot of brokers don't do is I self-train my agents.
So important.
Everything they do falls on me. So
Yeah.
if I'm not teaching them how to do it, I can't get mad at them if they mess something up.
Well, and let's talk about that, right? There's plenty of brokerages out there to work for. There's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah.
But when you're bringing people into your team, they've got to have a reason to come and stay and work there. And when you're the leader of that team and you provide that education, right, and you're paving the way to their success,
Yeah.
you're helping them, but you're also helping yourself, right?
Yep. And I tell everybody I'm accessible 24/7 to you. I may not call back. I'm normally I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
So I have teenage daughters. They love to stay up late.
Yeah.
So I stay up late with them. In the return, I get to sleep in a little bit because the wife has a school drop off for the younger son.
There you go.
But,
There you go.
I'm available to my agents all the time. And
That's awesome.
They are not shy to pick up the phone and call. And I don't be like, man, we've covered this 3 times. Let's do it again.
But that's why you have
Yeah.
success right there, because your agents aren't afraid to pick up the phone.
That's
And that's a
exactly
big
right.
part of real estate. People don't realize this. It's a communication business.
That's it. That's exactly right. Which is funny. I tell the story as I've had other agents call me and go, "Hey, do you mind answering this question for me?" And I'm like, "No, no problem, whatever." And I go, "What's your broker say?" "Oh, I'm not calling my broker about that."
That's crazy.
I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? They're like, "Oh, I don't want him to think I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
I go, "Well, that's what his job is. He's here to help
Yep.
you and teach
Well,
you."
you said something else too, and you talk about just ask, they ask you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful thing. A lot of people don't think about, but just asking a question. There was a major leader in this country, someone that built something pretty awesome, no longer with us, Steve Jobs. He actually did a video years ago, right? And you can still find it on YouTube. And what he talks about is he was a young kid, and he saw that Hewlett Packard had this product that he was interested in, and so he picked up the phone book back in the day, finds the owner of Hewlett Packard, calls him on the phone, gets him on the phone, and he asks him for a bunch of the spare parts, right? And he said, and I think this is huge. The guy said, it's funny that you're calling me. Hey, I want you to intern at, Hewlett Packard. And we know what happened with Apple today, right? But he said what he's found is throughout his career is where most people get it wrong is they don't ask. And he said, for what I've found is if you reach out and you just ask, most people want to help you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I've said 100%. Man, that's my motto.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, not in real estate, but in life in general. Everybody wants to help somebody, but everybody is not going to ask, "Can I help you?"
That's right.
You have to go and ask them and say, "Hey, do you mind giving me a hand?" Nobody ever says no. Ever.
they don't.
Ever. But do you know how many people never ask?
That's right.
I mean, I would probably say 70% of people never ask
Yeah.
for help, and they don't get help then.
Yeah.
When I was at OSU and I was talking to the kids, I was like, "Hey, who wants to make $1 million?" And everybody raised their hand.
Of course they did.
I go, "Okay, everybody be quiet. I want y'all to listen to this. This is the most important thing I'm going to tell you." And they all got deathly quiet, right? And they're listening. I'm listening. And I go, "Okay, anybody hear it?" And they're like, "Hear what?" And I was like, "Anybody hear anybody knocking at the door saying, 'Hey, here's $1 million?'" And they're like, "No." I go, "That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to knock on the door and say, 'Hey, here's some money for you.'"
Yeah.
I said, "You got to go knock the door down yourself."
I love that, man. I
So,
love that.
Yep.
And that's the thing is that the generation, Z, that's a big problem with those folks. They're out there watching all these influencers and social media, and they get this false understanding that these people just woke up one day and had millions of dollars and millions of followers. There's a struggle behind each one of those people's stories, and the success is because that person had the desire and drive to take action and get themselves where they wanted to be.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey, Val,
That's huge.
Let's
Yes,
talk.
sir.
Let's talk a little bit more about your real estate business because I know our audience wants to know. I asked earlier, what's your niche market, and luxury listing is one of them. But there's another one that you forgot, and I think is a big part of is the Hispanic community.
Hispanic market. Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So the Hispanic market is massive.
It's
I am part of REBA, which is the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. It's
awesome.
We're here in Dallas, Fort Worth. We're growing in our numbers. And what we like to do, and what I try to bring into my business itself, is we try to get low-income families or any family into their first home. And it doesn't stop there. We also want to teach them, how do we make you financial literate with your house so your house doesn't get run down. So you know what to invest in your house. You know when you're wasting money on your house, and how to organize it, how much to save per month, what to expect, what's coming, how to see what's going on with your property, when to call somebody in, well, how to get new quotes. A lot of people won't get multiple quotes. Tell me if y'all ever done this. They say, hey, you need new floor. They'll bring a company in. The sales guy will come in, and he's a sales guy.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the best floor. This is going to be the best price you can get. You can call other people, but you're wasting time. We can get you on the books right now. We can do it in 2 days. Well, they go with them, right? And it's people don't want to just bring people in, and that's some of the stuff we got to train them and teach them. The Hispanic market's massive here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
It is.
It is.
I'm going to stop you real quick, because you said something. I think this is really important to bring up. One of the things that you're doing with Reba is, as an agent, you're trying to educate people on how to buy a home, right?
Yes.
But you're taking that a step further.
100%.
And you're saying, hey, now not only are we going to help you buy the home, we're going to help you own the home, meaning we're going to help you know when the right what the right amount of money to save is, when you need to do these types of repairs or upgrades, how to go about making the right decisions when doing those repairs or upgrades. You're truly educating them to not only be homeowners, but to be successful homeowners.
Yes.
It's amazing, man.
Not just that, and we use our organization. We invite everybody to come and join our organization. We want everything from realtors to lenders to title companies to construction people to attorneys to mortgage people, just everything, because what we want to do, if somebody that we're helping needs something specifically, we can refer them to one of our members.
You've got a partner right there.
And go, hey, do you mind giving them some advice?
Yeah.
And everybody's willing. Like I said, everybody's willing to help. You just got to ask.
That's it.
We're the people asking for them. Because a lot of times, especially in the Hispanic community, we tend to take the first thing that's offered to us because we don't want to cause waves. We don't want to stir the pot. Hey, I can get into it. I'm just going to take it. I have an aunt that bought a house. She bought a house. Her interest rate, she's finally done paying it off. Her interest rate was 13%. When it dropped to the 2s, I was like, or even when it was down in the 5s when I first started, I was like, hey, we need to refinance you. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not doing that. She paid that same percentage from day one to now.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy, but they don't want to rock the boat. And I was like, guys, we got to educate our community. And
we do.
That's why Reba has been so strong for me. It's given me an outlet to help with that.
Well,
that's great.
I also want to talk about culturally, the Hispanic community is a different culture than here in the United States. The loyalty factor.
Oh my gosh, loyalty is unbelievable.
So I tell people all the time, if you help one family member and you do a great job, you have the entire clan. Not only the entire clan, but their friends. I reference a transaction Val and I are doing with. He is looking for one of my clients, an investment property or a primary property. Val calls me on a weekend and go, hey, I forgot to tell you, I'm showing his mom and his sister a house. I need you to reach out to them, get them pre-qualified.
Yeah.
I reached out to the mom, and then I go, hey, Val, by the way, I'm pre-qualifying the sister. Mom also gave me her sister Lou, her other sister Jasmine, and her nephew that we're in the process of pre-qualifying, and so we can give back to. So it's when I say it's a different culture, it's just a different loyalty culture.
It is,
and you captured it.
Yeah,
because
once you get it, you got it forever.
When it goes back to what we say, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. They trust Val.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And if Val goes out there and transitions them to somebody who's going to provide the lending, they're going to trust that lender. Now, maybe not entirely until that transaction is finalized, right? But if everything goes well, you provide the right service, and Val's doing the right education, you're going to get that customer back.
I do want to tell y'all this on lending because it's the funniest thing to me, and I tell my clients all the time this. For some reason, they look at the lending officers as police officers, like they're doing something wrong. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm like, they're not. I'm like, hey, they want you to be able to buy houses more than you want to buy the house.
They're your advocate,
They don't make money. They don't get paid unless they lend you money.
We need to change our name, right? No more loan officer. It's
So I think it's funny, and it doesn't matter who they are. Everybody's the same way, and I'm like, guys, these are people that want to help y'all. Don't, because I don't know if I'm sure y'all see it. You ask for their information, you're only going to get some of it till you ask for the rest. And I was like, give it all to them all at once. The more you give them, the better off you're going to be.
But we talked about this in the green room, and up until recently, and it's starting to transition. There hasn't been great literature or education for the Hispanic community.
Minimal. On real estate contracts, they finally, I think the last 18 months, they came out with a real estate contract that you can get that's in Spanish.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you earlier, I would say probably 90% of my Spanish people have never read the contract. They're relying 100% on what I'm telling them.
right.
It tells it because they can't read the English.
Yeah.
And that's
got to change.
That's a horrible way to do
That
business.
has to change. That has to change.
And I tell people this: we're in Texas. There's a thing we call in Texas called Spanglish. You know what? You can communicate very well in Spanish, but you can't read or articulate financial words. So
You can't.
so on my team, I have a fluently bilingual, speaks right Spanish, Jasmine.
Yeah.
And again, I tell people all the time, the certain financial words does not translate in Spanish unless you know how to read, write in Spanish and communicate that, because there is no Spanglish financial word that translate.
Sure.
So whenever we're able to communicate that with our Spanish speakers, it puts us way ahead of every other lender, because
It does, and you've got another another ace up your sleeve. That
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine just happens to be a unicorn. I mean, she's
Yeah.
amazing at what she does. Great communicator, and she cares and has passion, and that's a quality you can't always find, right?
yeah.
So I want to tell y'all a story. I know we're getting close to the end, but I want to tell y'all a story.
Well, I was just about to ask you, is there anything we need to talk about?
So I want to tell you a story. People ask me all the time, why do you do this? Why do you do this job?
Yeah.
I've always loved housing. I've drugged my wife to open houses in Canada, in Spain, in France. Whenever we go on a trip, we go see it. We're going with Metrotex. We're going to Amsterdam
Oh, wow.
to go do a workshop there for
That's
4
great.
days. It's been my passion. Everybody says, "Oh, you like it for the money." The money's fantastic,
Yeah.
but you can make money in anything. But I tell people the reason I do this job is a family that I met probably 8 years ago now. I'm not going to say their names, but I'll just say they're the Miles, and they'll know who they are. I get a phone call from a friend going, "Hey, I got a friend at work. They'd love to buy their first house. Can you help them?" I'm like, "Sure." So I go and meet with them, and we met, and they're telling me the story. They're going like, "Hey, we kind of got bad credit. We know we do. We got to work on it. We really want to get into our first house." And I'm like, "Fantastic." So I sent them to Chris Garcia
My partner.
long time ago. Okay, this is a long time ago. Chris calls me. He's like, "Dude, there is not happening, bro. Sorry." Goes, "Sorry, it's not happening."
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. He goes, "It's not happening," but I talked to them, and they said they're going to work on it with me. And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I stayed in contact with them, like I told y'all, because I'm always driving.
That's right.
So I stayed in contact with them, and just out of the blue, Chris calls me and goes, "Hey, I got the miles ready. They're good to go." This was like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Okay. And I go, "What? Who are we talking about?" And he's like, no, I got them ready. I go, "Seriously?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So I pick up the phone and call them, and I'm like, "Hey, I just got a call from Chris." And he tells me, "You guys are ready to go." She's like, "Yeah, we're thrilled. We're excited. Let's go see houses now." Right? Okay. So we go to start seeing houses, and I meet with them again, and I want to go back over with them everything that they're looking for in a house. And now their daughter's 12 years old. When I met her, she was 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm talking to them, and they tell me, "Hey, we really want this. We've never had we've always been in an apartment. Nobody in our family's ever had a house."
Wow.
I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "No, like we grew up in apartments. Our parents grew up in apartments. If we buy a house, we're going to be the first people in like 4 generations in our family that have got a house." So we went to see houses, and we bought a house, and we got them under contract. Everything went great. I went and handed them the keys that day.
Yeah.
You can give it to them at the title company, because we funded really quickly. And I go, no, I want to meet you at the house.
Yeah.
So I went over there, and I don't know why I did it, because I normally give them the keys and you let them go on their own time. And I said, "Hey, I want to meet you over there. Let's meet at 3:00.
Yeah.
So we got over there, and the daughter comes running up to the door, and I'm standing at the door with the key, and I hand it to the mom, and I go, "Congratulations, this is y'all's house." and they all start crying.
Oh man, I'm about to start crying.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just changed a lot forever.
Yeah,
And that's why I do this job.
That's magic, man.
that is
That's
awesome,
magic.
dude.
I didn't care if I got paid on that job. It was amazing.
Yeah,
That's your superpower, man. You know, that's your superpower. That caring heart, and man, brother, like that's the characteristic that we love.
Yeah.
With great agents, the ones that are really truly successful, they're like you, Val.
Yeah.
They care so much about the consumers and getting them into their homes and being able to be that bridge to make it happen, man, brother. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. I'm so glad that you shared it with
yes,
us.
thank you.
Yeah, and man, seriously, it doesn't surprise me at all as to why people keep coming back to work with you, man, because you just care.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, I don't see this as a job.
Yeah.
I see this as what I like to do. You know?
Awesome, absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Val, I know, especially after that, there's some people out there that are going to want to find you and your team. If there's a homeowner out there that's looking for a home, and let's talk about this, whether it's today or 3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
And they want somebody that absolutely cares and is passionate about what they do. Val, you're the guy, right?
Yep.
How do they find you out there?
They go to my website. It's Valen, VALEN, realty.com. They can email me, Val Garcia at valenrealty.com. Then call me, 469-647-8729. Be happy to help or happy to answer questions. If you're thinking about getting real estate and you want an honest conversation about what it's really like, happy to help.
That's awesome. And Dallas-Fort Worth?
Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah, Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you're out there looking in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and if you're bilingual or speak Spanish or English, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to call Val. He's going to take amazing care of you. And guys, you might have a moment just like the one that he just shared right here today. So great stuff, Val. Thank you so much for coming on today, brother.
Well, thank you all for having me.
Oh, no, man, we'll have to bring you back.
Of course, anytime.
David, anything you'd like to say?
No, as you can see why I had to bring Val on here.
No question about it. No question about it. Well, guys, we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Nguyen.
And if you want to find us, you can catch us at www.realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, any of those listening platforms that you like to consume your media. We're probably there. If you want to see the video, and I think you should, go check us out at YouTube. Again, Real Estate Success Partner. And we love if you'd subscribe, and we absolutely appreciate those 5-star reviews. So thanks again for joining us. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.